Right now, everyone is asking the same question. Should I buy off-plan, resale, or ready property? But this is the wrong question to ask, because these are not just different property types, but they are completely three different ways to enter the market. And because of the ongoing regional tension, something important is happening. We are starting to see opportunities appear across all three segments. Better off-plan structure, select resale entries, and very specific ready deals. So the problem today is not the lack of opportunity. The problem is clarity. Because when everything looks like an opportunity, most people lose direction. And this is where mistakes happen. Because the decision is not driven by the market. In fact, it's driven by the buyer himself. His cash flow, his portfolio, his objective, and his time horizon. The same deal can be perfect for someone and completely wrong for another. So instead of asking what should I buy, we ask more precise question, which is how should I enter the market? There are three entry levels: low entry, medium entry, and high entry. Each one comes with different level of commitments and of course different type of risk. Off plan is the easiest way to enter the market. Low upfront, phased payments, and time on your side. But you need to understand what you are actually buying. You are not buying property. You are buying a position in the future, 3 to 4 years forward, which means in uncertain markets, the risk is no longer about the price only. It becomes the execution, which developer is actually deliver, regardless of the conditions. This is why in this phase, quality becomes non-negotiable. You focus only top-tier developers, strong master plans, strong balance sheet, and the best location within those communities. Because weaker developers are always the first to feel the pressure. And what we're actually seeing right now is not the price reductions. In fact, it's structural adjustment. Developers are being more flexible through payment plans, fee waivers, and incentives. Not because the asset is weaker, but because the demand becomes more selective. Therefore, yes, the off-plan is easier to enter, but it requires discipline, trust, and the right developer. Now we move to the second level, which is the off-plan resale. This is where you step into an existing position, which makes it a bit harder to enter because the upfront is higher and it's often between 30 and 50%. But this is where the market becomes inefficient because sellers are not always acting strategically. Some of them are under pressure and some need liquidity, while others need simply to exit. And this is where real opportunities begin to appear. And there is another layer most people are missing, which is construction costs are not static. While rising oil prices and supply chain pressure, building the future is likely to become more expensive, which means if you secure a high quality asset today at or below market price, that advantage becomes very difficult to replicate later. Not because the market is cheap, but because the future replacement cost is rising. But again, the rule does not change. You don't chase cheap deals, because cheap deals are often an expensive mistake. You focus only on quality, top developer, top community, and a strong positioning within the master plan itself. And most importantly, at the right price, because this is a buyer market and pricing gaps are start to open. So the resale is harder to enter, but this is exactly where pricing inefficiencies can be captured. Now the third level, which is the ready property. And this is the hardest entry because it requires full commitment, no phase payments, no delay. Here, you enter the market immediately, but in return you get clarity, a real asset, a real demand, and immediately a cash flow potential. And in this environment, only very small percentage of the deals actually matter. The one that combine a unique property, a prime location, and the price that align or below market value. Because again, this is buyer's market. So yes, the ready property is the hardest to enter, but it gives you the highest level of control and visibility. So the real question is not off-plan, resale, or ready property. The real question is how much you can commit and how much risk are you willing to carry. Because low entry depends on the future, and medium entry unlocks opportunity, and high entry gives you control. And we need to keep in mind, across all three, the rule is the same. You focus only on quality, top developer, top community, top location, and best price available. Because in buyer's market, selection becomes your biggest advantage. And uncertain markets do not remove value. In fact, they redistributed it. And the ones who benefits are not the fastest. In fact, they are the most precise. And at Arkelens, we don't chase the market, we understand it.